Hello and welcome to this week's podcast. If you're watching me on YouTube, I just realized my imperfect house in the background. I've got some washing over here and I've got some bits on my dining table over here. Usually I'm in my office, aren't I? But my husband's up there today. So I am going to talk to you this week about the lessons that I've learned from surprises. So if you listened to last week's episode, or if you follow me on socials, you will know that it was my birthday this weekend just gone, and my husband had arranged a surprise weekend for me. I had no idea where we were going. I had no idea what we were doing. Now, because I was saying to him, well, do I pack for camping or do I pack for hotel? Because these are, girl needs to know these things. These are two very different things. He did say to me, Nikki, we are camping. I will tell you that. We are camping. I said, okay. And I love camping. I do. And so I was like, okay, we're going to be camping. But there are three things that I've really learned from this weekend that I really wanted to share with you. So what we actually ended up doing was we did camp in North Wales in Snowdonia. The campsite was beautiful, basic but beautiful. So one view of the campsite overlooked a lake which we were able to swim in, which I love cold water swimming. So that was incredible, excuse me. The other side, the other view, if you looked in the other direction, was overlooking Snowdon, the peak of Snowdon when it wasn't cloudy, obviously. And it was just in the most beautiful valley. And we went down on the Friday or up on the Friday. And I knew Johnny had said to me the surprise is on the Saturday. And I had a few ideas of what it might be. But I didn't tell them, and it ended up to be quite fun because they were like, Mum, what do you think it is? I'm like, I'm not telling you. And it kind of shifted oh, we're now excited about what you think we might be doing. So that was fun. But what we ended up doing on the Saturday was the world's fastest zip line, which was so much fun. That totally floats my boat. It's scary, but you're safe. Loved it. Um, Ironically, the only time it rained during the whole weekend was when we were going up in the lorry thing that they take you up to the top of the mountain in, which was fine because it was uncovered. And as we were coming down, and you're going sort of 80 to 100 miles an hour. Like I don't know how fast, but you're going. It's the fastest zip line in the world, right? And as you're going that fast, when the rain's hitting your face, it really hurts. So at one point, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. And my brain clicked in. I went, Nikki, you have a choice, which is what I talk about all the time, right? You could either find this terrible, you could find this funny. And by the time I got to the end of the zip line, I was laughing so hard. The lady's like, grab the pole. I'm like, what do you want me to do? I don't know what to do. Because I was just in absolute stitches. So it was brilliant. And because I know I have a choice, I chose to find it very funny. And it was amazing. Um, so that's what we ended up doing this weekend. And it was so much fun. And I am so moved by the thoughtfulness of my husband and of my two boys because I did nothing. I did nothing for this weekend except pack my stuff, get in a car and go. And these are there are three main lessons that I've learned from this weekend. Um, I'll tell you what the three are, and then I'm going to talk about them slightly individually. So, the first one was that the unknown can be exciting. I'll come back to it. The other one is that I don't need to mother hen everybody. I'm going to explain what I mean by mother hen in a second. And the third one is that receiving feels so amazing. So let me talk about the unknown because our brain, the human brain, doesn't like uncertainty. I spoke about this last week, right? It likes to know, so it makes up a story. And because that primitive part of our brain is negative, most of the time that story is negative. Um, but actually, one of the most wonderful parts of this weekend was the could it be this? Could it be that? What if it's this? What if it's that? And as we were driving up, every time, because I obviously know the geography of England, and usually I'm the one, or in the past when we had maps, I was always the one navigating. I've got a rough idea of where places are, right? So, as we went up through Bath, I was thinking, oh wow, so we could be getting on the M5, or we could be getting on the or we could be getting on the M4, and then which way we're going to be going, east or west. And so we got onto the M4, we went west, and I was like, oh, okay, so now we could either be going into Wales or we'd be going up north, up the M5. And so then we turned up the M5, and I'm like, right, okay, so we're not going to South Wales. So that rules out a couple of things. We're not going to the south of England. So that rules out a couple of things. I wonder where we're going. And then it's like, we could be going to North Wales. We could be going to the Lake District. We could be doing all these other things. And actually, that unknowing was so much fun. It was so much fun. And I said to my husband afterwards, I said, this is actually a really good analogy for business. I struggle sometimes with the knowing how something's going to work. So, especially when it comes to making money and getting clients, I'm like, how? What do I have to do? How do I get I kind of want to know in advance how something is going to work. But this weekend, I had no idea what we were doing, how we were doing it. And it was so exciting. And that excitement was quite exhilarating. So I'm like, actually, I could bring that into my business. The unknown could be exciting because I've got evidence to prove how exciting this weekend was because I didn't know what was happening. I've just thought of a fourth thing, actually, and that's trust. What I realized as I was just talking this through was having trust in somebody else. Like, there were a couple of things that I really dislike doing. Um, Falling, so therefore jumping, is something I don't really like. So I'm quite happy to off a rock, jump into a low level water, like, just a little plop, kind of like that. But any form of falling, I just don't like it. I would never choose to do a bungee jump. I've done a skydive because that feels different. And I know you're falling, but when the parachute goes up, that's a whole different thing. But a bungee jump, I would never choose to do. That is not my idea of fun. So when we go like wild swimming, the boys quite often will jump off of stuff. I'm not jumping. I might plop occasionally, but I'm generally not jumping. So I was able to release my trust into my husband to know that he wouldn't actually do something that I really disliked. He knows me well enough to not have done that. So trust came into this. Um, so I think when you're uncertain and you're able to trust somebody else, or and actually so much more importantly, you're able to trust yourself to handle it, or you're able to trust the universe or God that it's going to give you what you need, that's huge. That is a huge thing to be able to do, to surrender that trust to your partner, to yourself, to God or the universe. Um, I hadn't considered that as part of it, but that's actually quite an insightful little moment for me. So, not mother henning. This was a huge lesson for me because normally I'm the one that's going, right, has everybody got their clothes? Have we got the food? What time are we leaving? Where are we going? Making sure that everything's kind of packed. Not my husband, like he's a grown ass adult, right? He doesn't need me to tell him what to pack. But still, I'm like, have you got everything washed? I'll go do the food. Like, well, when are we going to have breakfast? What do we need to get for breakfast? Like, I'm usually the one mother henning everybody. And I think if you're the same as me, that you will totally understand what I mean by mother henning. You know, that kind of the mother ducks like, Is everybody okay? Have you got what you need? Have you got what you need? Have you got you know? And so I then try and control that situation. I try and control them. I was not able to do any of that for this weekend because I didn't know what we were doing. I didn't know where we were eating or not eating or, what clothes we needed other than camping. So I literally had to allow the boys and allow Johnny to sort themselves out. And lo and behold, they did. What a fucking shocker. Turns out I do not need to mother hen them. I do not need to control them. I do not need to be the one that feels like she has to do everything because I did nothing and we had the best time. So that is lesson number two. As the mum, you don't have to do everything. These children, this partner of yours, they are very capable. Very, very capable. All we need to do is take that step back. So that was huge. And then the third thing was receiving. And what do I mean by receiving? Receiving is when someone gives you something. Now, this doesn't necessarily need to be a physical thing. This weekend wasn't necessarily physical. It was I don't know how you describe it. It was an experience. My husband gave me an experience. And throughout the weekend, I had to check myself a couple of times, take that step back, and allow myself to receive the gift of thoughtfulness. Now, for you, this might be someone paying you a compliment. And then we tend to go, oh, we tend to go, we shrug it off, don't we? We kind of push it away and belittle it and shrug it off. We don't allow ourselves to receive it. And I did a lot of that this weekend, very consciously, very deliberately. And I was so grateful for the opportunity to receive their excitement, to receive their thoughtfulness, to receive the amazing experience that they created for me. Whereas in the past, I think I would have maybe tried to push that away a little bit. I would have resisted it. It's always felt uncomfortable. This weekend, I was able to breathe and allow myself to experience the beauty of where we were, the the stunning views that just look like someone has painted a picture. Um, we were incredibly lucky with the weather. The I was just able to receive all of the excitement, all of the love, and all of the fun. And because I was able to do that and I was so grateful, it was also a really enjoyable experience for my husband because he really enjoyed being able to give that to me. And so this was a two-way thing. Often we don't allow people to give us compliments, love, things. We try and push it away. And actually, when we open ourselves up to receiving, it just feels so amazing, so incredibly amazing. So, what was also so thoughtful is when we got home, I had a couple of presents here from like my mum and my mother-in-law, but I didn't take them with me. I waited till I got home to open them. And they were gorgeous presents. Again, really thoughtful. But something that I saw when we were away in Centre Parks at the beginning of the year was so my youngest son Blue loves yet Lego, and there was a Lego flower. So you could out of Lego you could make a bunch of flowers, and I was like, oh, that's amazing! Like when I saw it, I was like, isn't that amazing? That would be really cool to do. Totally, totally forgot about it. I totally forgot about it. And over the last week, Blue has said to me, Mum, I just need to go up in my room. Please don't come up. Please don't come up into my room because I've got something I'm doing and I don't want you to see it. I had no idea what they were creating. And when we got home last night, they gave me this bunch of Lego flowers, which I just think is so beautiful. They look gorgeous, even though they're made of little Lego pieces. But more so than that, the fact that my husband remembered, and then the fact that my son took time to make them, it's just so amazing. And I was blown away by the thoughtfulness of that gift. And I allowed myself to receive that thoughtfulness. And for me in the past, that's been really uncomfortable, really uncomfortable. And I would have said something like, oh, this is ridiculous that you've spent so much money. Or, um, I would have pushed it away because I was uncomfortable. But this weekend, I allowed myself to surrender to that discomfort, allowed myself to feel uncomfortable. And it was just so incredible for them as well as for me. So these are the three lessons, actually, four with the trust that I've learnt from surprises. The unknown could be exciting. I don't need to mother hen everybody. And lo and behold, neither do you. Receiving feels amazing. And we can surrender our trust to ourselves, to our partners, or to the universe. And when we do that, it creates such a more beautiful, beautiful connection. Um, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I think this has probably been one of my favorite episodes to record so far. Um, and it was just a really beautiful, amazing weekend. So whilst my boys and my husband probably won't listen to this, I want to thank them so much for their love. I received their love at a time when I never would have done previously in the past. And if you want to learn how to do this, then please get in touch because this is a skill that no one teaches us. No one tells us we have a choice over these things, and we 100% do. So if you want to change your experience, please get in touch because I'd love to help you. Have the most amazing week, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye bye.